we'll start out with our little, 1 minute, 2 minute summary, and then we'll dive into pros and cons. So yeah, I'll go first, and I'll let you kind of formulate your thoughts, Brayden. Yeah, this is a film that when it first got announced that they were going to be doing a Scream 6, I was not excited for it. I'm not a Scream 5 fan. I actually did my franchise ranking on my YouTube. It's Logan, so go check that out.
Go check it out.
And Scream 5 is my second least favorite Scream movie. I'm not a fan of it. It's not great. I wouldn't call it bad, but it's not good either. It's a very bland movie, and this movie just literally took everything that Scream 5 did right, brought it, and then kind of left everything that they did wrong. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what you need to do with the sequel. You know what I mean? You build off the success of the one previous, and you get rid of all the bad stuff that was in the previous one. And that's what this movie did. Ramped it up. Everything from the brutal kills to the characters. It's a really, really good film, man. And it never slows down. It's just one thing after another. I mean, you're sitting there throughout the entire film. Your heart's at like 110, 120 the entire film. Your heart's pounding, your blood pressure's up there.
Yeah.
But with that being said, there's a lot of problems with it, which I didn't really we talked a little bit about this, but there are some on here I haven't really mentioned with you yet. But there are a lot of problems with it, whether that's the character decisions, whether that's the fact that you have guys that are like Swiss cheese still getting up and walking around, stuff like that. There's a lot of problems with it. But overall, it's a really good Scream movie, and I had a really good time with it.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I've seen the original Scream, and I haven't really seen many of the other ones after that. So kind of going into this, like Logan, I have another friend who's very involved in like Scream franchise, and they really like it. So I kind of went in with like the idea it's going to be a really cool slasher. It's going to have a decent story, just because I know they were amping it up and they were kind of tying everything in. And that's actually what we got. So like going in, I'm pretty sure this is the highest kill count from the entire Scream franchise.
Probably.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I saw the exact number. It's 19 deaths. That's a spoiler.
Whoa, should have been about 25, but hey.
It should have been 25. That's a con that we can agree on. We've talked about. We'll get to that. But I thought it was super awesome. Like I love a good slasher, and it was so dope. Every kill was unique and very well done. And it was kind of like we talked about this first time you kind of see a double action of like the two Screams tag teaming, and I didn't know that, so it wasn't as like maybe nostalgic for me, but I still thought it was so dope. I was like, what the
dude,
hell?
And they wiped the blade at the same time. Oh, I was flipping out,
so
dog.
Cool, so cool,
man, yeah.
But like, it was just like it was a nice slasher, but it was also a thriller at the same time. You were always on your toes. I really didn't know who the killers were at all. Like I mean, like I had a gist of maybe like one, and we get to that.
Did.
Yeah, but like not the other two. Not, to be honest, not really. I didn't really, and like the story that ends up coming out, didn't expect it. So
no.
I'm gonna overall say I went in there with not a low expectation, but an expectation that this is gonna be a cheesy slasher, and I was pleasantly surprised that it was more than that. And I recommend anyone who hasn't seen it, you should go see it. It's a good film.
For sure. No, yeah, I'm the same way, man. It's a beauty. It's definitely a beauty for sure. So yeah, those are kind of our little summary, man. I guess we can. What should we do? Should we do pros or cons first? What are you thinking? Because I like literally have probably.
Let's get the cons, man.
Go cons. Okay, sure, we can go cons, man. We're gonna start it off negative, baby. Let's get
it off negative.
Yeah.
I'm angry
today. I'll just kind of start with a couple of mine, man.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of feed off one another here. The biggest con in this movie for me are the decisions that these characters make. Now, Brayden knows this too. He loves horror movies, and when you're watching horror movies, especially a slasher, characters make dumb decisions. That's what happens. That's always what happens in these films. But oh my god, I mean, there's stuff in this movie that me and Brayden both looked at each other a couple times.
We're
like what the hell are you doing?
Bro?
Like why? You know what I mean? No. Like person in the right mind, even in a situation like that, will make that decision. Let me go ahead and just kind of name off a few because I have three that I wrote down. Number
there
one,
you go. It's haunting him.
Yeah, dude, the cop that is revealed as Ghostface, the main kind of guy behind it, the dad.
Yep.
He has a fully loaded gun, and I talk about this in my franchise ranking. A fully loaded gun at the end, and runs toward Sam. What are you doing? Shoot her! You have a fully, and she doesn't have a weapon in her hand. What are you doing?
He's acting like he's got a bayonet rifle. Like he doesn't.
Bro.
He's got a fucking pistol.
I get so mad every time I talk about this. I know everybody watching and everybody listening, you can tell. I genuinely don't understand. Like, okay, I know why the writers
It's one of the
did
first things he just looked over at me and he was like, "Why did he run at her?"
Dude, you have, and maybe I thought, I was like, okay, maybe he doesn't have any bullets in the chamber. He shoots his gun when he gets to her, and she like hits it out of the way. Like, oh my god, bro. I mean, some of the dumbest decisions I've ever seen. Then you have, Sam and Jenna Ortega, the two girls at the end. Oh, there you go. Okay, sorry, I had a little lag there. Jenna Ortega and Sam, the two sisters at the end, they sit there on the benches while on the steps of the little stage or whatever, while their friends are bleeding out.
And they're like, "We'll get help."
Yeah, we'll get help, but let's go ahead and have a 5-minute conversation about our lives.
Where's the help?
Yo,
where's the help?
And then the characters survive.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest cons.
Oh my god, dude.
It's probably my biggest con.
Yeah, man. I didn't understand that at all. So, and then another part too that I didn't understand was Gail Weathers. For some reason, she decided to go into a closet and get a gun. Was able to call 911, but still went out of the closet and into a room where Ghostface can jump at her from 20 different directions. Why not sit in the closet and wait? And I guess the big argument is, oh, well, she wants to end this once and for all. Has that worked for anybody else in the past? I'm just saying. Has that worked for any? No, it hasn't. Okay, they've all died. All right, same thing happened with Dewey, your ex-husband. Okay, so why would you want to do that?
You think you're gonna 1v1 this man
that's
right
what
now?
Yeah, and also in that
murk
scene,
your husband.
Also in that scene, doesn't care about her boyfriend or husband that's laying on the ground.
Murked him.
These characters don't care about other people. Brayden, I don't know, bro. And then one more too, and then I'll let you say one of yours. Why don't when a Ghostface is on the ground, knocked out for a second, and doesn't have a knife in his hand, why not jump on him and shoot him in the head? Why not? If he's on the ground, when we talked about this.
Take him out.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
And there's so many moments in this movie, and this isn't every Scream movie though, so you can't really fault this movie for that. This happens in every Scream movie. They're on the ground, knocked out, whatever it is. Either unmask him, figure out who it is, or shoot him in the head, kill him. I don't know, something like that. Don't run away. I don't understand it. Or don't look around the corner and then come back and he's gone. Like, oh my god,
yeah,
dude, that gets me. Yeah.
Every time.
So stupid.
No, I mean, my points are very similar. Like, I think the biggest con for me in this movie was the fact, like, there was too many main characters that they kept alive. You ruin the emotional availability of a viewer when you pull at our hearts and you get us so connected to a character and then you take them out and now we're hurting, we're grieving for them. But then you tarnish that the moment I see them come out on a stretcher after getting shot in the face 3 times and stabbed 40 times in the chest. Like,
dude,
and when it happens amongst 3 plus main characters, it's like there's no risk, at that point I didn't feel like anybody's gonna die. You know what I mean? I have no fear of any character dying when I see somebody get shot and stabbed 50 times. You know what I mean?
Now I will give him this. They killed off Dewey in Scream 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, you have this, remember the core 4, the 4 kids?
The core 4, yeah.
They literally all got stabbed multiple times, right? But now we know. It's like, yeah, you killed off Dewey, sure. But now I just feel like you just killed off Dewey just to show that you're not scared to kill anybody off, but more as a distraction to the fact that you're keeping all these other characters alive, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
I worded that terribly. But then you don't kill Gale off. Like, where are we going with this? Like, do you want your characters to live or die? And why kill Dewey instead of killing Gale?
Who's fan favorite, and like that's the thing, and this is like because you have Gale, you have Chad, and you have Kirby, all who were put in situations where they should be dead. Like there's no Gail, like, and then they like that's how they get you with Gail because she called the cops and they just came in time and she has a
Oh my
weak
God.
pulse. I
Yeah.
literally looked over at Logan. I'm like, she's not dead, and you're like, no, bro, no. And they're like, she's got a weak pulse, and it's like, dude, why? Why do you do that? And then Chad and Kirby, same thing we were just talking about. Bro, this man literally both Ghostface have him grabbed by his shoulder. Sink, 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 sink. Bro gets rushed out on a freaking stretcher and starts making out with Jenna Ortega.
Yeah.
Bro, yeah, she pulls his mask off and she starts making out with him.
Okay, yeah, by the way, it's a slow motion montage of about 10 seconds of from both
Dude,
ghost faces.
at least 30 stabs to the chest.
Dude, at least and we
He's
talk,
coughing up blood.
dude, me and Brayden talked about this. Yeah, literally. Me and Brayden talked about this. We both said, okay, yeah, you would drown in your own blood. That's a whole other conversation. But me and Brayden talked about this. We're like, look, there are, I mean, listen, people get shot multiple, 50 Cent, right? People get shot multiple times. People get stabbed multiple times, but they sometimes survive. But when it's every single character that survives situations like that, it just gets unrealistic. People do survive situations like that, and I've seen people online try to defend that. They're like, oh, well, this person got stabbed 30, 40 times. Someone actually did get stabbed like 40 times, bro, and they survived it. But it's like, okay, but will that happen to 4 people
Yeah, right.
in the same situation?
Yeah.
Like, that's where it gets weird, man. So, yeah, no, I agree. They just didn't kill anybody off. Literally, didn't kill anybody. Did not kill the person that we thought died was a fake death. What are we doing?
A fake.
Right? I mean, I guess the
Someone's
one
back in
girl
the end and
that
then-
fell off the alleyway, which we'll get to in the pros, she died, the Asian girl. But other
Yeah.
than her, who died?
But then you're right. The daughter, it's like, that's not even, like, you can't predict that's the killer because we watched her die.
Which I hated. Oh my God, I hated that, dude. That is another con I actually have on here is, you have to, like, look, you have to obviously not make the killer or the killers super, super obvious, but you got to let the audience try to guess. And that's what Scream 1 did perfectly. Billy gets arrested and the killings are still happening. Nobody was thinking, oh, there's 2 killers, because that just wasn't in our brains yet. We didn't see a Scream movie. And so we kind of pushed him off to the side thinking, oh, no, okay, Billy's not the killer anymore. But with this movie, so Wes Craven did it in a really, really good manner. Now, Wes Craven isn't directing these movies anymore. He passed away in 2016, I think. So he's not involved with it, and he was the master at whodunits, in my opinion, or that mysterious kind of effect. And Brayden, you need to watch 2, 3, and 4, which is the other ones that he did, and you'll see the same thing. They don't live up to Scream 1. I thought Scream 4 did a really good job with it. I think they're probably the second best at it. I've kind of like shown you, kind of given hints to who the killer are, but not being too obvious with it. But this movie just didn't do that, and these past 2 movies didn't do it well. And there is a mystery aspect that I really enjoyed, which I'll get to in the pros. But overall, the killer, who was the killer type of thing, just wasn't executed really well, in my opinion.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it just kind of felt like they didn't really establish that throughout the movie, so they just kind of threw it at you at the end, which I didn't really like. Because sitting there, I looked at you and I was like, what? Like, what the hell is going on right now, dude? Like, how did this happen? Because throughout they never were connected at all throughout the whole thing. I mean, the dad and the daughter, but then you find out he's like a long lost son, and like, that was just so unexpected. And it's not like you said, I just feel like I don't have like a smile on my face when I'm like, it was so unexpected, because I don't feel like it was like a fair, like a smooth transition. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like all 3 of them pop out like fucking Spider-Mans, and I was like, what is going on right now, dude?
Yeah.
And it's like a whole cult popping out.
Yeah.
So I mean, but at the same time, that is a pro. in its own way. You know what I mean? It's a double-edged sword, you know?
Depending on how you look at it. No, I get that, man. And that's like with Scream 2. Now, all the Scream fans watching this review and listening
Hmm.
to this will understand Scream 2, Stu's mom is the killer. Now, you don't know that this lady throughout the entire movie is Stu's mom. So when it's
Hmm.
revealed it's Stu's mom, it's like, oh, but we didn't have anything to piggyback off of the entire film. You just kind of throw it at us last second, which a lot of people love that reveal and love that film. But those are two of my from Scream 2, Mickey and Debbie Salt, I think her name was, Stu's mom. They're two of my least favorite characters or killers because there's no build up to them, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
But no. So I don't want to get too off topic, but no, Brayden's 100% right. You didn't really feel it and just kind of felt like it was in your face. Now you might like that surprise, you might
Hmm.
like that surprise effect, but for me, this is not a good thing, but I like to compare it a lot to the original just because the original did it perfectly. And I
Yeah.
kind of put it on a scale of how close it was to getting to that whodunit factor that the original had, and this movie just really wasn't there. It was better than five, but just still wasn't there for me.
And I think, this is where it's like the double-edged sword. Like, I think the concept was a good idea. I just think they could have like transitioned it better. You know what I mean? They
I
could
get that.
have smoothened it out and sprinkled more things to kind of like, you know what I mean? You just kill a girl off and then like then she's automatically a killer. And then this kid, he's like, "Yep, y'all predicted it. I'm the nerd. Y'all were saying it
Yeah,
the whole time." Like it would have been cool if it was the two P because you and me thought it was her name Mindy, Chad's
Mindy.
sister?
I
Yeah,
was set on Mindy,
that would
bro.
have been. I mean, maybe that's a little too obvious, but having Chad been one of killers, like that could have been really cool. I just think, like I said, I think it was a cool idea. I just they could have implemented a little more Easter egg and kind of made that surprise a little bit more of a pop, you
Yeah.
know?
No, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you there. And then let's see. Any more negatives I have on here? Um, let's see. So yeah, I guess the last negative is actually. Do you have any more negatives before I read my last one? Because it kind of goes into the pros.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really think I do.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll kind of. I'll do this one. This will transition into the pros.
Hmm.
Um, the daughters. Oh wait. Oh no, I got one more. How did the kids get the artifacts? The Richie from the Scream 5 that was the killer. He owned all of those different like props and stuff from the first couple films and the first couple like killings. How did he get all
Yeah.
those? They said, "Oh, well, the police loses evidence." That was the reasoning for a 20-year-old kid getting all of these different all this evidence, this police
Hmm.
evidence from some of the biggest murders in this universe. How?
Yeah,
I don't care if he's a big fan. If
I
he gets a
agree.
knife, if he gets a mask, whatever. This my boy had like all 9 killers in
That's
their
where
robes. Come
That's
on,
where they could have
man.
implemented like a stew thing. I think that's another negative I have.
Yep.
Like, I think they
Mhm.
could have
Mhm.
sprinkled some
Mhm.
more stew in there, like Easter egg, because they hint to him on the drawing board, and they're like Kirby and them don't think he's dead. Kirby, I'm pretty sure it was Kirby and Gale having the conversation. Like, they don't think
Yeah.
he died,
Yeah.
and it's like at that point, it would have been perfect to have Stu be the one. That would make so much sense on why he would have all of that. If you want to like do a little more storytelling, like, but with Richie, of course, I didn't see the fifth one, but like you just establishing him for the first time, and then like they bring that idea back that he's the one who collected him and his family. It's just like, who's that, dude? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, what?
Who that is?
Who is
Which
this
hey,
guy? Who are you?
eh, let's see.
I gotta sprinkle
Was
one
that
every
like? Was that
time,
2
man.
episodes that we didn't have that? Now it's back. Love it. It's gonna make its episodic appearance.
Yeah.
But no. So and that's another thing we were talking about too, man. Well, let me. This actually goes into my next con kind of pro. It's really a pro. I don't know why it's in my cons. So the daughter's body, right? That was faked because she was one of the killers.
Yes.
How did the cops not know it was fake? Did they pay the coroner? What went all that? Because it's
Yeah,
a fake
like
body.
he fooled everyone.
It's a terrible logic, but if that is the logic, Stu's death could have been faked. Even more, It makes even
Boom.
more sense, bro. So
Yeah.
even if, because once again, listen, if you guys want to know my whole theory on it, I've talked about it plenty of times before, but I think Stu's alive because he's the only killer that's never been shot in the head or, killed twice or whatever. Only the TV
Hmm.
fell on his face, and he was actually originally supposed to be in Scream 3. He was always meant to be alive. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So I think that now you have such an easy opportunity to say, yeah, just like what we did with the girl in Scream 6 with faking the body and the cops going along with it, because maybe the dad was obviously part of the police, so maybe he
Yeah.
had an in with the coroner or something, right? Which does happen. Look at
Hmm.
Stranger Things. Remember the government and Will's body and all that. So it
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
goes with that's the first thing I thought of. So that just shows that Stu could have did the same exact thing. Now, how does that go with Stu's mom being the killer? Because her whole motive in Scream 2 was her getting revenge for her son's death. So
Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna work. Obviously Wes Craven had an idea. I wonder what that idea was. Maybe he faked his death from everyone, most of everyone, even his own
Yeah.
mom. But whatever it was, let's put all that to the side. They have an open door now for Stu, and I was telling you, bro, I think Stu could be friends with the Mooney guy, the main cop, the dad of the killers.
Yeah, yeah,
They're around
yeah.
the same age group. They're in their 50s, right? 40s, whatever it is. They be in their 40s, or early 50s, which is perfect. That guy could easily be late 40s, early 50s, and so could Matthew Lillard and Stu. So yeah, man, I'm with you 100% there. I think that they just, even though this would have been the perfect time to bring Stu back with all the old artifacts and stuff, I think that whole conversation, God, I don't know what that conversation. I
Conversation?
became C-bum
Are we
there.
Mike Tyson?
What if up YouTube?
What is
um,
what is up, everyone?
but no, we love you, C-bum. But no, but when Gail and Kirby were having that conversation, whoever was having a conversation, I did look at Mr. Bradley Noble and I went, you know what I mean? I was like, my boy, it's time. So I think Stu's gonna definitely be back in Scream 7, and it is going to be awesome. So we'll kind of move that into our pros. Brayden, you want to kind of start with a few, my boy?
Yeah, man. My first pro, honestly, is like the kill factor. Like, it was honestly super dope to have a reflect. Like, it was a really refreshing slasher, I have to say. I haven't seen. It was a lot of kills. Now, of course, I wish someone was one of the main characters, and that kind of like tarnishes it, but a little bit. But like the killing scenes were super dope, and the shots of Scream were always like I loved the ladder scene when she's climbing, and you literally like see him break the door down, but like you see it from her perspective, you just see him walking in the background. He just goes to the door and just fucking opens the window, just super cool. And then I don't know, I really liked just yeah the killing scenes a lot, and just the killers overall, like even like the knife scene that you were talking about earlier, they were on sync. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything just felt so sharp, you know what I mean? I love when
No
movies are
pun
sharp.
intended. Yeah.
No
Or
pun
pun
intended,
or
baby.
pun
Cut
intended.
like a knife. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
No, I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. Yeah, the kills were really, really fun. I had a good time with those for sure. They were really brutal.
Mhm.
When especially the I don't know if you remember the grocery store, the gas station scene or whatever. He
Yes.
goes in there.
Yes.
He don't care, my boy.
You don't
He went in there
care
with
at
8
all,
people.
dude.
Remember, the one guy, the bald dude that tried to step up to him,
He
stabbed
was
him real
like, "What
quick.
the hell are you gonna do?"
Dog took the gun, the shotgun, shot that dude in the head. I was like, God, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
Ghost, dude, he was bad, and yeah, the suspense in those scenes
I
too.
wonder which one of them it was. Who, like, if it was the son or
So
the dad, or
there's
you know what I
a
mean?
guy, yeah. There's a guy. His name's Zach Cherry. He's on YouTube, and he does like
Mhm.
the Who Killed Who series. It's actually really cool, and he put a lot of thought
Oh, that's
into
super
it.
dope, dude.
Scream 1's the easiest because Wes Craven literally had an idea of who was under the mask for each and every kill. But
Oh,
as you
really?
go on, they not every kill is explained, but Scream 1, literally every single kill, you know who it is by the way they're holding the knife and everything. Like, Dude, Wes
Really?
Craven in Scream 1. Dude, look into like how specific that movie is. You see Stu and Billy like talking to each other throughout the movie in very subtle
Mm,
ways, like stuff like that, bro. The movie
nah,
it's brilliant, dude. Like you have to really watch those kind of like breakdowns to really appreciate the movie for what it is. But
that's super dope.
yeah,
Yeah,
his
no, that
name's
sounds super cool.
look it up, man. His name's Zach Cherry. He even did like in the
Zach
opening
Cherry.
with Drew Barrymore in Scream 1. He
Really?
did a thing where like where were the killers? Where was Stu and Billy throughout that entire scene? Who's, wrapping around the back, putting the dead body in place? Who's at another area? Like, dude, he went like super
Dude,
nerdy
that's so
into it. And it's really
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, so go look him up, Zach Cherry, and everybody listening and watching, go do that for sure.
yeah,
But no, yeah, it was really cool. A lot of good moments there, and just seeing three killers was really interesting. We've never had three killers before, I don't think. Nope, never had three killers. So that was cool. It was really cool to see. I'm assuming the Mooney guy, the cop, was wearing Billy's mask, the old one. Because remember
yeah.
the other two were using the regular white ones, the
Yep.
newer ones. So he was using which means he attacked Gale and stuff, which is cool. And one thing I enjoy about it too is it's very believable that not very believable, but it's more believable than some of the other Scream movies when it comes to these people actually being able to kill people and go on a murdering spree. Go watch Scream 4. Scream 4, it's fallen down on my ranking a little bit, but I love the movie for what it is, and I love the killers. But they're both
Yeah.
like 5'4", 130, probably like 130, 120. There's
Yeah.
no way that There's no way. There's no way
There's no way.
that if they're 5'2", 5'3", running around
Just
murdering
stop.
people.
Please.
Listen.
Please.
I mean, just stop it right now. Take a step back.
Close the door. Close the door.
Open your door.
Open the door.
And so that is one thing I enjoyed about this movie is it was a little more believable than other Scream movies. And so I did like that. And yeah, the two ghost faces at the same time, man. I looked over at Brayden and he was just kind of sit there and enjoying it. And I was like, bro, you don't know, man. You don't know. And then they
Yeah, I
wiped the
was
knife
like,
at the
this
same
is so
time.
dope. And then he's
Yeah.
like having the fan moment.
Yeah, dude. So no, I had a really good time with that. And I just want to go through a couple of these pros real quick that I really liked.
Yeah.
Exciting movie throughout, especially with the opening. I mean, me and Brayden were both sitting there like, wow, you're revealing the killer that early on? Like, where are you going
Already?
with this? We were both sitting there, and I was like, dude, there's like 14 different directions to go with this movie. Where are you going to go with it? And it did not go the direction I thought at all. With him getting killed, like, in the opening sequence. So, one of my favorite openings, they didn't go with the typical, someone's getting killed in the opening. It's like something totally different with like you actually seeing a ghost face, wannabe. And it was a really cool sequence, man. So really good opening for sure in the entire film
Little
throughout.
Little dorks.
Oh man, yeah, they it was really good, man, and the pacing throughout was really fast paced, but it was perfect for a requel sequel, which requel sequels are usually the most gory and the most crazy, and that's what this film was. So I had a good time with that. And then the characters overall, man. Brayden, when you watch Scream 5, and I know everybody watching is going to agree with me, Scream 5, the new characters weren't really that interesting. They were okay, they were watchable, you could enjoy them, but you didn't really feel attached to any. And a lot of those same characters came back to Scream 6, and they all were amazing. The writers this movie was very character driven. I know Brayden can agree with that. From watching the movie,
absolutely.
They really focused on the characters, especially with Sam, seeing her dad again, but really diving deeper into that with her being like this, is she a murderer? What's going on with that? Seeing Jenna Ortega, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, she might be a little crazy. And seeing Jenna Ortega's character, even the core four overall with Mindy and Chad, those two, their character
I love the core four.
Weren't they great? The chemistry was really, really good.
Yeah.
I like that. So they were bouncing off one another.
Yo, what was with Sam not trusting her boyfriend, bro? That man, dude, he threw it all on the line, yo.
He stood in front of the guy. Remember we were talking about that?
Almost took a stab. Had it been the killer, would have died for her. And he's trying to come, and she's like, "You're not with us. You're not a core 4 member."
Yeah, I knew he was too big of a red herring. Like I knew he was way too big of a red herring, and I was like, he's not going to be the killer. But
Yeah,
no,
no, yeah,
Mindy and
right.
Chad were really, really interesting characters, and even that like little people call it cheesy and kind of stupid, but like even like their little conversation, that they're like having
Mm,
about like the rules and everything. I remember they're all sitting in the circle in the park or whatever,
yeah.
and Mindy's kind of going through all the rules and everything. You know, her uncle. Randy from the first couple Screams, he kind of played that role. So it's cool to kind of see her take that on. And people called it really cliche and stupid, but that was one of my favorite parts of the entire movie, and I had a really good time with it.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, it was a horror movie nerd really diving into everything just like her uncle. So it was really cool to see that, and I thought that was really well done. And my last big pro I have with this is not having Sydney in this movie did not have any effect at all. You know,
Absolutely.
I was nervous about that. The first Scream movie
Mm,
without Nev Campbell and Sidney Prescott, and they got rid of her. And this isn't not in a negative connotation, but they got rid of her in the best possible way by just saying, yeah, she's wanting to be with her kids and get them in a safe place. And that's all we needed.
smart.
You don't need
Yeah,
anything else. You know what I mean? They
absolutely
didn't try to
smart.
overdo it. They didn't try to do anything crazy. They were really simple with it and effective. And I wasn't even thinking about Sydney at the end. I don't know about you, but I had no thought of
Mm,
Nev Campbell in my mind, which is just a big testament to the writers and producers, directors, all of them, man, and the actors and everybody involved with this project that kept us
absolutely.
engaged throughout the entire
A
movie.
character-driven quality that we were talking about.
That's what I'm saying, and you know exactly what we were talking about. The characters were really interesting. The core four was really cool, and that's why
Mm.
they need to get rid of Gail, and she needs to die. Because I'm as much as I love Courtney Cox, it's your character is terrible.
Your character is just your character's just bad.
Yeah, I can't stand Gail, man. And
No, she
people
just
people
it
love
did.
Gail. People love. I don't know how. I loved her in Scream 2, but after that she was trash.
I like her character, but it definitely feels like she definitely like gave me the vibe like because she's been around so long, she's in like got that plot armor. You know what I mean? Like that whole scene, like I just got so much plot armor vibes.
Well, apparently she's not gonna die
Apparently,
anyway. So
yeah,
hey,
no,
it's okay.
she has the plot armor.
Yeah, she definitely does.
I was right.
Yeah, you're right, my boy. So yeah, that's one thing. You know, I do want to say that they need to move on from the legacy characters, but I think they're going, or at least you would be able to move along without the legacy characters. But we're gonna see Stu and Nev Campbell come back in Scream 7, and if they don't, I'm gonna be very, very disappointed. So, a final
I'd be
battle
upset.
between Stu and Nev, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god.
That would be. Oh my god.
Give it to me, baby. Give it to me.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about Scream, man. You ready for our final ranking, baby? Our rating?
Our final ranking.
Yes, sir. So, Brayden, I'll let you go first.
I'm gonna hit this one on a high note, and I'm gonna go 8.8.
8.8. That's a good one. That's nice,
Yeah,
bro.
man.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I was gonna go 8.6 on this one.
There you go.
You know, even though there's a lot of problems with it, a lot of problems. The third act is awesome with the 30-minute killer reveal and all the fun stuff they throw at us, dude. It's one of my favorite
Yeah.
Scream movies, and if you want to see where it ranks on my entire franchise ranking, like I said, go to my franchise ranking on my YouTube. Go check that out. And when Brayden watches these movies, eventually we'll do a ranking too.
We'll
with
do a
him.
ranking together.
Yeah. I'm really curious to see where this movie will rank on our 2023 movies list, man. I really enjoyed it.
Dude, I'm so excited
I'm
for that.
really excited for that.
Yeah, I do. I liked it a lot, and I actually really enjoyed. Like, I want to go back and watch. Like, I looked at you, and I was like, I really want to go back and watch all of the other Scream movies now. And I was super interested in like the plot and the story after that. Like, that's how you know you've done your job right.
Yeah.
You guys did your job right.
You did it right. No, and you're gonna appreciate this movie a lot more too, for sure. When you watch these old movies, man. 100%. But yeah, 8.8, 8.6 out of 10. You guys let us know if you're watching on YouTube what your ranking is down below. Your thoughts, your pros, cons, whatever it is. Do you agree? Do you disagree? If
We appreciate you.
That's what I'm saying. We do love you, bro. We love you, man. We love you.
Your comment's cute. What can I say?
Make sure you guys give this video a like, comment down below, like I said, all your thoughts on this video and the stuff involved. And if you're new, subscribe, hit that little bell notification so you're notified every single time we post. See y'all.